We can use systemnet web client to download and upload files, as well as fetching content from websites. Let's say we want to download a PowerShell script from raw GitHub website. We can use this command, and this download file plays an important function. The first part is the URL, and this one is where we specify the location for the script, and we can rename it as well. We can use download string instead of download file, or when we need a quick access to text-based response from websites. And the result will look something like this. It's worth to mention that invoke web request can also be used to download files, as well as other tools like client URL and wget, which you can see in the notes. Also, we can execute the PowerShell script, which we just downloaded, without being detected from antivirus software. And this is where invoke expression or IEX comes in. And this command will only execute the script from the website without downloading the file, which makes it harder for antivirus solution to detect. However, it's not always the same case with modern antivirus software, which can still block it. When transferring files using SMB-Server, we may have three different scenarios. The first one is where we use SMB-Server on Linux and transfer to Windows. So on the Linux machine, we can use this command, sudo impactcat SMB-Server, and then we have to give the SMB share name share, and then SMB2 support with the directory that will be accessible. In this case, I'll use documents directory. Supposedly, we are transferring shopcats.exe to a Windows PC. However, newer Windows version will block this command because we are apparently using an authenticated guest. So, some sort of authentication can solve this problem using this command. We have to find user for username and password for, of course, password. On the Windows machine, using PowerShell, we will use this command, netuse, and the IP address of the Linux machine, and then the share folder we specify, and username and password that we previously created. The N right here is what we use to mount the local drive. After mounting the N drive, we just copy the mount drive and the file that we want to transfer. The second scenario is the opposite to the first, but simple. Now, we will have to upload files from our Windows machine to the SMB-Server, that is our Linux machine. To do that, after mounting the N drive from the first case, we'll use copy item and path, the file that we want to upload. Let's say invoke AES encryption PowerShell script, and specify the destination, the IP address of the SMB-Server, and the share name we used earlier. So that means we are uploading the script to documents directory in our Linux machine. Let's check on the SMB-Server, and here in the documents directory, we can see the script is being uploaded. We can also use webdev to transfer files between two hosts, which you can see in our notes. Last but not least, what if we want to transfer files from Windows to Windows using SMB-Server? First, let's check if SMB-Server is enabled in the first Windows machine. Using this command, okay, the result indicates that SMB2 protocol is enabled while SMB1 is not. Well, this is not a problem because SMB1 protocol is not considered safe. Now, we need to create an SMB share. To do that, we need to run PowerShell as administrator and type this command. The full access grants us full control over the share folder. That is, we can read, write, modify, and delete any files in the share folder. We can use get SMB share to list share folders, and we can see our share folder here. On our second Windows machine, what we need to do is connect to the SMB share that we created in the first machine. Just a quick reminder here, this method will only work if both computers use user and password authentication. And now with this command, we'll try to connect to the SMB share. After that, we can use netuse to check the available shares. Confirming the available share is the one we connect to, we'll use copy item, the file that we want to upload to the share folder, and the share drive, which we specified earlier. Let's check the previous machine. And as you can see, the file is successfully transferred. Python FTP server is common in quick file transfer. This method is lightweight and only requires minimal setup. However, it is considered less secure than some other versions like very secure FTP daemon. So, on Linux terminal, we'll use this command to set up FTP server. Let's try to use curl on Windows machine to download files from the FTP server. That was pretty quick, right? Also, there is one way to download files from FTP server if we don't have remote access on the FTP server. So, on our Windows PC, we need to write this script and save in a file. And use the script file with this FTP command. Remember, the script will only work if the target machine has FTP server open. So, we can use the previous setup for this, for our home lab. We have done downloading files to Windows from FTP server. What about uploading files to the FTP server? The setup is the same with the previous one, but with extra options. So, back on our Linux, sudo python 3 pyftp dlib and port 21, and for upload we'll use option write. Let's use systemnet WebClient to upload FTP text file in Windows using this command and see if the file is uploaded to the FTP server. Great! To use a script to upload files, we'll use put instead of get from the previous script file and the usual FTP command. We can use the same commands for a client-side and server-side to transfer files between Windows PC. So, I'll skip that part. One main reason to use base64 encoding in file transfer is to bypass restriction, because some system may block when we transfer binary files such as scripts and exe file. Base64 encodes the file into text-like data, which is less likely to trigger firewalls or antivirus. So on Linux machine, this command will encode binary file into text-based file. We can then transfer the encoded file to Windows using any of the file transfer method we covered. Well, you guessed it. This trick is no match for sophisticated antivirus in Windows 11. For educational purpose, we will disable virus protection and start again. And after transferring the file, we will use this command to decode. So this time, let's use Python Uploadserver on Linux and PowerShell script to upload file using Windows. We use this command to initiate the upload server on Linux. On Windows, we first need to download ps upload PowerShell script and execute it. Well, this script is necessary to upload files. We can do this with this single line command, and I hope you remember IEX. After that, we can use this command to upload files to our Linux machine. Another method to upload files is using netcat. So, we'll put netcat listener on Linux using port 8000. On Windows, this PowerShell command converts the content of a file into base64 encoding and store it in b64 variable. We can then upload the variable using this command. Back on our Linux machine, we can use this echo command to decode the variable.